we can all together proclaim the joy of spreading peace, the joy of loving one another, and the joy acknowledging that the poorest of the poor are our brothers and sisters. As we have gathered here to thank God for this gift of peace, I have given you all the prayer for peace that St. Francis of Assisi prayed many years ago. And I wonder, he must have felt the need what we feel today to pray for. I think you have all got a space with you. We'll say it together. Lord, make me a channel of your peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, that where there is error, I may bring truth, that where there is doubt, I may bring faith, that where there is despair, I may bring hope, that where there are shadows, I may bring light, that where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by forgetting self that one finds. It is by forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen. God loved the world so much that he gave his son. And he gave him to a virgin, the Blessed Virgin Mary. And she, the moment he came in her life, went in haste to give him to others. And what did she do there? She did the work of the handmaid. Just serve. Just spread that joy of loving to service. And Jesus Christ loved you and loved me. And he gave his life for us. And as if that was not enough for him, he kept on saying, love as I have loved you, as I love you now. And how do we have to love? To love in the giving. For he gave his life for us. And he keeps on giving. And he keeps on giving right here, everywhere, in our own lives and in the lives of others. It was not enough for him to die for us. He wanted that we love one another, that we see him in each other. That's why I said, blessed are the clean of heart, for they shall see God. And to make sure that we understand what he means, he said that in the hour of death, we are going to be judged on what we have been to the poor, to the hungry, the naked, the homeless. And he makes himself that hungry one, that naked one, that homeless one. Not only hungry for bread, but hungry for love. Not only naked for a piece of cloth, but naked of that human dignity. Not only homeless for a room to live, but homeless for being forgotten, being unloved, uncared, being nobody to nobody. Having forgotten what is human love, what is human touch, what is to be loved by somebody. And it says, whatever you did, the least of these my brethren, you did it to me. It is so beautiful for us to become holy through this love. For holiness is not the luxury of the few. It is a simple duty for each one of us. And through this love, we can become holy. Through this love for one another. And today, when I have received this award, I personally am most unworthy. And I, having a vow of poverty, to be able to understand the poor, I choose the poverty of our
Hello everyone, I'm Joshua William Gelb and welcome to Theater in Quarantine. It's Wednesday, December 16th and it's 9 o'clock here in New York City. Thank you for tuning in and joining me for the special encore performance of I Am Sending You the Sacred Face by Heather Christian. It's been a little over 8 months now since I converted the closet in my East Village apartment, measuring 4 feet wide by 8 feet tall and only 2 feet deep, into the White Fox digital laboratory we call Theater in Quarantine. With Katie Rose McLaughlin, the co-creative director, we have gathered an ensemble of collaborators and institutional supporters, including La Mama, Culture Hub, the Invisible Dog Arts Center, and of course tonight's co-presenter, Theater Mitu. Now,
It's really bad. We can barely hear you.
you can barely hear me right now?
It's like buzzing. Everything's buzzing from our end. You need to fix the audio.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let us all together
And if you didn't hear me before, I said we have a few technical audio difficulties. We'll be with you shortly.
let us all together thank God for this beautiful occasion where we can all together proclaim the joy of spreading peace, the joy of loving one another, and the joy acknowledging that the poorest of the poor are our brothers and sisters. As we have gathered here to thank God for this gift of peace, I have given you all the prayer for peace that St. Francis of Assisi prayed many years ago. And I wonder, he must have felt the need what we feel today to pray for. I think you have all got a faith with you. We'll say it together. Lord, make me a Let us all together thank God for this beautiful occasion where we can all together proclaim the joy of spreading peace, the joy of loving one another, and the joy acknowledging that the poorest of the poor are our brothers and sisters. As we have gathered here to thank God for this gift of peace, I have given you all the prayer for peace that St. Francis of Assisi prayed many years ago. And I let us all together thank God for this beautiful occasion where we can all together proclaim the joy of spreading peace, the joy of loving one another, and the joy acknowledging that the poorest of the poor are our brothers and sisters. As we have gathered here to thank God for this gift of peace, I have given you all the prayer for peace that St. Francis of Assisi prayed many years ago. And I wonder, he must have felt the need what we feel today to pray for. I think you have all got a paper with you. We'll say it together. Lord, make me a channel of your peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, that where there is error, I may bring truth, that where there is doubt, I may bring faith, that where there is despair, I may bring hope, that where there are shadows, I may bring light, that where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be
Sorry about that, everybody. Let's start over. I'm Joshua William Gelb, and welcome to Theater in Quarantine. It's Wednesday, December 16th, and it's 9 o'clock here in New York City. And thank you for tuning in and joining me for a special encore performance of I Am Sending You the Sacred Face by Heather Christian. It's been a little over 8 months now since I converted the closet in my East Village apartment, measuring 4 feet wide by 8 feet tall and only 2 feet deep, into the white box digital laboratory that we call Theater in Quarantine. With co-creative director Katie Rose McLaughlin, we've been expanding our roster of collaborators and working with some incredible institutional supporters like La Mama, Culture Hub, the Invisible Dog Art Center, and of course tonight's co-presenter, Theater Mitu. We developed tonight's performance as part of Theater Mitu's Expansion Works, which is an ongoing program that creates space for artists to work across disciplines and incubate alternative modes of creation. This is an opportunity for Theater Mitu to invite and involve their community in the process of experimentation and to actively engage audiences in interrogating how we define theater and how we best share and articulate the stories of our time. And we've been so thrilled to be part of this program and so thankful to Theater Mitu for their support and collaboration. Tonight's performance runs about 40 minutes, and afterwards I'll be hanging around with our collaborators to discuss the process of making the show. I'm not exactly sure who's going to show up, but we will answer any questions you might have, so make sure to drop them in the chat. Also, Heather's music will sound even more magical if you listen on headphones, so grab some if you've got them. Below in the description, you will find a link to our Fractured Atlas page, where you can make a donation to Theater in Quarantine. Fractured Atlas is actually in the middle of an end-of-year match campaign, so anything you contribute to us that's $100 or less, Fractured Atlas has promised to match. All donations will go directly to support Theater in Quarantine, as well as tonight's collaborators, so please consider supporting the artists who have made this work possible. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can reach our 1,000 subscriber goal by the end of the year. And lastly, please encourage anyone who you think might enjoy this performance to Okay. Sorry, I thought I heard another buzz on my phone, thinking that something might be wrong, but it's not. It's looking like the sound is working and that everything's going ahead just fine, so I think we'll be good for the rest of the evening. So, as I was saying, please encourage anyone who you think might enjoy tonight's performance to check out our final show on Friday, December 16th at 9 p.m. Archive performances will be available this weekend. Now, one final reminder that what you're about to see is live. This is not a film, it's not a pre-taped broadcast. This is happening, as you well know, right now, in my closet, in an apartment in the middle of a snowstorm. So let's get started. I'm going to take a brief 1-minute break so I can get into places, and also so you can get your headphones. Thank you again, and enjoy I Am Sending You the Sacred Face.
Open patent, patent, taking open pa. 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 Open patent, patent, taking open pa.
Desires are mosquitoes, not bites. That sorry you want will also cost you braces. Somewhere we're taught we lose ourselves when we lose the things we like. Then we repeated it until we proved them right. Nihil habitans et omnia possidentes. So I only speak for me as I am in the world, not of it to choose poverty, who love it for its clarity. I like my rotten bulgur, I delight in days of hunger. I like patching over my old two saris. I wear shoes that do not fit me, stink and sweat, refuse a fan, a phone, a TV. Praise my lousy bed and head and hauling company. To work on poverty, to me you must be poor. My commonality with those I serve gives dignity, and equal at their eye they come to us to die, with the dignity of friendship, with an uncontested equal. Nihil habitans et omnia possidentes. Nihil habitans et omnia possidentes.
Open patent, patent, taking open pa.
You say the poor like they're one thing, like they're a theory and a herd and not a people that outnumber you, not individual lives with crazy stories, moms and uncles, similar struggles, same intentions, different means. How many people have you alchemized to numbers? How many voices did you mute behind the comfort of your screen? Poverty is not a plague, it was not sent by God, but engineered by human systems. He won't fix it, that's your job. Oh, poverty's no plague, it was not nature who bestowed it, but our selfish crazed ambitions that will bother God and run to throat it. Poverty's no plague, it's not a thing that simply happened. It is ours, and every second that continues passing while you are not offering your hand. Yes, your real hand is a waste of time. And time is unforgiving. So time is not like God, they say. Nihil habitans et omnia possidentes. The message of my life. That was it. It would be rude and misleading of me not to start with that. To do otherwise would be bad dramaturgy, as that is the message here painted on the outside of this vessel. Yes, vessel. This is a well-made vessel, custom built to relay that message to you. The reason you got it was not because I thought it, but because I became it with theatrics. Be the change you wish to see in the world as a kind of drag, the outfit matters. But just so we are clear, it was not posturing. I truly believe this message to be objectively true. Poverty is an exalted state. I treat the poor with dignity as befits this exalted state. From a religious perspective, the poor are closer to wisdom. I do not treat the poor with dignity out of pity or compassion. I treat them with dignity as an act of reverence. The poor are not just equal to you. From a religious perspective, they're better. Now, I was not born poor. I chose it along with this outfit. There is symbolism in the outfit, always. Some people call that marketing. You remember me when you see this outfit. And what do you remember? Me The person? No. My dreams. You remember my dreams. This outfit affords me that kind of subliminal messaging. It's a teeny tiny phone call to a surfing synapsis in your brain. Hello. Now there is additional symbolism in the outfit, which I will enumerate here. Faith is the inner tunic and is a brilliant white, the brilliant white of teeth, of the smile. This is a white so brilliant it is supposed to put out the eyes of the intellect, which is fabulous. Now over this white tunic of faith, one puts this blue trim, this blue coat of
Hi, everyone. I'll do an intro, actually. Hey there, everyone. So we're having a little bit of difficulty with the computer today, which is funny because we got through 2 shows on Monday without a problem. Could be the snowstorm. Could be any number of things. Could be the fact that I'm working off of a 2014 Mac Pro. But I just reloaded Isadora, and hopefully that will solve things. Thank you for your patience. So, since we really didn't get very far into it, we're just gonna, and also I forgot to turn off my monitor, so you had a bit of a glare. We're just gonna take it from the countdown again. All right, thank you all so much.
Open patent, taten, taking, open pa. Open party, 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 taten, taking, open pa.
Desires are mosquitoes, not bites. That sorry you want will also cost you braces. Somewhere we're taught we lose ourselves when we lose the things we like. Then we repeated it until we proved them right. Nihil habitans et omnia possidentes. So I only speak for me as I am in the world, not of it to choose poverty, who love it for its clarity. I like my rotten bulgur, I delight in days of hunger. I like patching over my old tusaris. I wear shoes that do not fit me. Stink and sweat, refuse a fan, a phone, a TV. Praise my lousy bed and head and hauling company. To work on poverty, to me you must be poor. My commonality with those I serve gives dignity, and equal at their eye. They come to us to die with the dignity of friendship, with an uncontested equal. Nihil habitans et omnia possidentes. Nihil habitans et omnia possidentes.
Open patent, taten, taking, open pa.
You say the poor like they're one thing, like they're a theory and a herd and not a people that outnumber you, not individual lives with crazy stories, moms and uncles, similar struggles, same intentions, different means. How many people have you alchemized to numbers? How many voices did you mute behind the comfort of your screen? Poverty is not a plague, it was not sent by God, but engineered by human systems. He won't fix it, that's your job. Oh, poverty's no plague, it was not nature who bestowed it, but our selfish raised ambitions that will bother God and what's authority. Poverty's no plague, it's not a thing that simply happened. It is ours and every second that continues passing while you are not offering your hand. Yes, your real hand is a waste of time. And time is unforgiving. So time is not like God, they say. Nihil habitans et omnia possidentes. The message of my life. That was it. It would be rude and misleading of me not to start with that. To do otherwise would be bad dramaturgy, as that is the message here painted on the outside of this vessel. Yes, vessel. This is a well-made vessel, custom built to relay that message to you. The reason you got it was not because I thought it, but because I became it with theatrics. Be the change you wish to see in the world as a kind of drag, the outfit matters. But just so we are clear, it was not posturing. I truly believe this message to be objectively true. Poverty is an exalted state. I treat the poor with dignity as befits this exalted state. From a religious perspective, the poor are closer to wisdom. I do not treat the poor with dignity out of pity or compassion. I treat them with dignity as an act of reverence. The poor are not just equal to you. From a religious perspective, they're better. Now, I was not born poor. I chose it along with this outfit. There is symbolism in the outfit, always. Some people call that marketing. You remember me when you see this outfit. And what do you remember? Me The person? No. My dreams. You remember my dreams. This outfit affords me that kind of subliminal messaging. It's a teeny tiny phone call to a surfing synapses in your brain. Hello. Now there is additional symbolism in the outfit, which I will enumerate here. Faith is the inner tunic and is a brilliant white, the brilliant white of teeth, of the smile. This is a white so brilliant it is supposed to put out the eyes of the intellect, which is fabulous. Now over this white tunic of faith one puts this blue trim, this blue coat of mail. Blue is hope, by which one is defended, see, and also liberated from the thing that it ultimately represents, the world. More on that later. Blue hope is an armor and covers the whole body top to tail with no openings save for a little visor which allows the soul only to look heavenward and nowhere else. More on that later. Now over the white and over the blue as a finishing touch, one puts on the precious robe. This is charity. This is what everybody sees when they see you after being blinded by your smile. This is what you drag down the street. This is both the drag and what is drug. Yes? Now, let's talk about calls. I experienced a call when I was quite a young girl. My first call, that is. Which is the call to be a nun. This is an understated call. An intuition laced with a desire. Most nuns and monks you speak to will tell you something similar, like a phone in your heart. The phone's in your heart with this kind of call, yes? The second call I received was different. This was a phone in my face. This was an actual voice in my face that I received when I was truly not expecting it. On a train. The voice of someone who did not sound at all like anyone I'd ever met and was urgent. This was an urgent phone call from inside my face that I received while riding a train, and this was the call that got us here tonight. Me from wherever the heck I am, and you from wherever the heck you are. Somehow, serendipitously, in the same place. This is where it started. He said, "Your heart was never drowned in sorrow as my mother's." I said, "I stand with the mother. I dress as your mother dressed and perform her always." He said, "Will you not show me?" I said, "I will show you like this. I stand with the mother, as the mother, all right always." I promised him as such. That promise is a cup that I fill with my work and my love and my minutes. Go now to the poor. This conversation frightened me. Go now to the poor. God was testy. This is what was hard to bear. God did not make requests of me. He dared. And when I paused, "Will you not?" Like a child who's been neglected toward the dry arms of his father. "Won't you go ahead and try me? Will you not?" Not will you, not can you, not may you. "Will you not?" Not won't you, but you probably will not. I did try to stop the thoughts. I tried to be in silence. I could not. It came on booming. In a train car to Darjeeling. "Will you not?" Then every morning after, as a panic in my memory. Now, go now, go quickly. Will you not? What is asked is just as natural as it is supernatural. Will you not? The voice lives in two places at once. In the train car at 80 miles an hour, impossible. Will you not? And in the traveling space between the drums of my ears, as love made ghost, made clear, and argumentative. Go now to the poor. Why do you not? I say my answer lies with priests who know much better. Then you won't. Was this my first act of cowardice? I am too young to decide. Is obedience cowardice? Every day you do not leave passes in darkness. 100 pass in agony today. Will you not? Ultimately, the church would not consent till I could promise it success. But what is this success? What is success in matters of the hopeless?
What now?
So let me go, I said, tormented. Success is just a silly word that you invented. My doubt lived as an oily film on a well of my conviction. Deep enough to where no skiff could drop an anchor. My doubt floats at the top, but all the same pollutes the water.
Forgo caution, child.
When
will you
God asks for things, people are careful about details. When society asks for things, they are done quickly.
Forgo caution, child. Will you not?
This thirst is infinite. This
Will you
is
not?
a thirst I rush to put out
Will you
like
not?
a trillion fires in a
Will you not?
thousand neighborhoods. I can't find them all in time. Quenching won't be possible.
Don't let that ease your mind. Just because it is untenable does not mean that it's not your calling. Will you now?
Okay,
Now.
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 okay.
Now.
And in the beginning you are fame. God has spoken to you through a telephone in your face. But a soul canoe don't float. A soul canoe don't float. If you want divine perspective, you got to get up out the boat. Don't you strain at your brother's neck and then swallow your own camel. Don't you claim that your brother's white with a soul that's still a gamble. You will know you're a beginner if your rapture is a show. If you're public and you're pleased not to let everybody know. So it's not nice to be suffered, not to punish you, but bolster both your real legs to the parapet. If your legs on a pride trapeze, God will run loose the net. There is competition, even in virtue. I will not hide from you that I have had my share of wanting to be the best at something. I was proud of my humility in the beginning. Are you? I ask that without an agenda, as we are 2 songs in now, so we are officially friends. Be the change you wish to see in the world is a kind of drag. I already said that. What I wanted to see more of in the world was humility. So, I became that change in order to fulfill my wish of seeing it. For most folks, humility is pretty unappealing. For one thing, you only get humility by acquiring humiliations. Nobody likes that, except for me. I accept humiliations. I am grateful for them. I call them my sweetie sweets. My smile is a cloak, not a coat. It doesn't keep me warm, but covered. It doesn't protect me, but you. It's a part of the outfit. And furthermore, it doesn't interfere with humility. I just wanted to be a nun, really. Ordered, submissive. I never wanted to be a leader. Being a leader requires a certain level of belief in oneself, which is a whisper's breath from pride, which is a different kind of cloak, one that protects me and not you. And I wouldn't abandon anyone like that. Abandonment is an awful poverty. Abandonment is what I call a second wound. The first wound is a given. You will be wounded in this life, but the second wound is one that comes just after it and lasts a very long time. That second wound is a wound of no one was concerned. I was wounded in the first place. I'm telling you this so that you can do your best to make sure that you aren't opening these second wounds anymore. Anyways, in the end, I wasn't taught the reality of feeling unloved and unwanted by others. I was taught that by God. But patched clothes are no disgrace. It's the same with spirits. Is loving your system the same thing as loving your breakfast? Don't answer that. If you you get the voice, you get it once. The voice has other ports of entry after that. Did you know, girl, when you heard it, it would never speak again? That it would leave you iron flat against its silence.
Being the change you wish to see in the world is kind of a drag.
My soul is out of its onesie, isn't coddled, is big enough to be put down, weaned, made to eat a bread with a crust. That is St. John's explanation for this silence. And now my soul is exposed, it is ready, prone to oxidation and a forceful gust of wind. And there are raptures and transports, a dislocation of the bones. I inoculate myself and strike this room of everything that was not part of the vessel. I'm the manger, I'm the cup, and I am ready, I am empty, 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 I am empty. The living image of the saint is one of horror, of a mouth open and gaping at its own husk in the mirror, surrounded by their own sleep, spiders eviscerated in their own webs, attacked by stronger giants, while they patch their robes with wash rags or rub ashes into paper cuts. I annihilate myself and strike this room of everything that was not part of the vessel. I'm the manger, I'm the cup, and I am ready, I am empty, 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 I am empty.
Saints do not practice self-care. We practice self-annihilation. If I was to publish The Idiot's Guide to Self-Annihilation, it would be short and likely not your favorite book. It would go like this. Page 1. First item. Seek out some suffering, and then appreciate it when it shows up. It is hard to explain this to a modern person, this want of suffering. You cannot look at it with what you call your right mind. But without suffering, the work we do is social work, which is good and fine and helpful, but nothing to do with your soul, in my opinion. Anyway, the work is not yours. Page 2. This would be a blank page, followed by another blank page. And then there would be a page where I drew a single marigold. I really like the reminder of a marigold. They're named for Mary, you know, who is a true example of watching and feeling and continuing to stand upright. She blooms unseasonably. Where am I? Page 5. The second item. Once you have located your suffering, give a purpose to it. Give it to someone. You got no one to suffer for? Alright, suffer for me. Imagine that every time you lose your breath, or you cry out in pain, that it is an offering in a lunchbox of my energy, and I collect it through the air. And this is how I go on. Because of you. Your suffering has value. Anyway, the work is still not yours. That's the whole book, guys. I don't want to see my face anymore. It's a thing I use. It's not part of me, really. I don't want your candles. I don't want your stuff. If it's not abundantly clear, I am keeping this room vacant in expectation of... Well, anyway, he won't come unless the room is spotless. Excuse me. Hello?
Good morning and God bless you. Is this Mother Teresa?
Yes, I suppose it is.
This is an automated telephone survey. Is very official as to the nature of your progress within your calling. Please press 1 to comply. Welcome. Please answer the following questions with brutal honesty in order that we may fully assist you with your current station. Question 1. Do I really receive Holy Communion with faith and love?
No.
Question 3. Do I value the salvation of my soul?
I don't have one. There's nothing in me.
What are the dangerous occasions of mortal sin to which I am exposed?
My eyes.
A what?
Dangerous.
Because of the distraction from
Because
God.
of the Exactly.
Working. Thank you. Do I desire to be poor with Christ's poor?
With my whole heart. I am not humble, but I am too small to be proud. I pray fervently to be forgotten, to be ignored, to be nothing to anyone. And this is how my prayer has been answered. Why are you laughing? Anyway, I do keep on saying the same prayer.
Do I avoid trying to shine in front of others?
I don't understand that
Do I
question.
accept desolation as ready as consolation? Do I accept dryness in prayer as a grace of God?
No, nothing inside of me.
Is there anything you would like to add, Mother Teresa?
Tell him I'm sorry. Ask him to give me the face of a smiling child.
Why is that my job?
Because he doesn't speak directly to me anymore. Hello? Hello? In a marriage, some things are kept private, kept even from the children. I cannot explain this part to you, so why unload the cart? I am undefended. I
live undefended. The only shield I've got now is my quiet, and that isn't for myself. May my promise be a chalice I can pour into it lots of things, like minutes, like sweat, but not thoughts. 'Cause thoughts are of the self, and I am emptying the cup of myself. I am undefended, I live undefended. The only shield I've got now is my smile, but I don't give that to myself. Tell you, let's just see what happens when a modern woman gives herself completely to be a blank space. Will it keep her on her knees to see what's emptied from the cup of herself? A cup by nature won't track what it spills. A cup has two states, filling and emptying. I am in service, I have no actions of my own. One might say I was purified of human alloy. One might say I was ready to enter the deep things of God. One might say I was terribly unkind to myself. One might say I was unable to look at the whole picture. One might say I was never able to understand the whole picture. I have given myself to the smalls, to the one life at a time, for the one last breath and its qualities. I am undefended, I live undefended. I smile at this cardboard box that's getting filled with all kinds of important things, big things I do not understand. It's a veritable box of treasures, and the plainness of the box won't mean it cannot bear the weight.
I always said, if they ever tried to canonize me, I would want to be known as a patron saint of darkness. That I would not take my reward in heaven if it turned out that heaven was in fact a meritocracy. I said I would stick behind here. No thank you. I would stay, to be a friend to those who also go through this. And as luck would have it, here I am, behind the bookcase of reality. And I have kept my promise to you. That's pretty wild. And one must observe from this vantage point that the living world is in fact a peach. Is the fleshy, peachy peach part, sure, has worms, also has a fuzz, has rind. And that rind is the peach's container. And maybe that rind is actually divinity, and I, or, we are here in between the two. Isn't that marvelous? Oh well. I did not do a very good job of giving you a biography. It's all quite sentimental, actually, in retrospect. And sentimentality is disordered. I abstain from it. Oh no. Oh, we're wrapping up. Wait, but I just realized I have a lot to say, actually, as it turns out. These are medieval dramatics, aren't they? My particular darkness was a medieval darkness done to a modern woman, so it was quite a show. Suffice it to say, I am an expert on this niche subject matter, and I am here to be the mother of your house, for anyone who's had a particularly hard go of it and thirsts for understanding, for the care of an older woman who loves you and has been there and has anecdotes. Child, think about where you were a year ago. Okay.
This is not a trial by fire, this is renovation by fire. Fire. to wood, dehydrates it and turns it black and brittle, makes it ugly, makes it sink. But the wood, if submerged now, wouldn't sink, wouldn't sink, wouldn't sink, wouldn't sink, wouldn't sink, wouldn't sink, wouldn't sink. This isn't a trial by fire, this is renovation by fire.
Everyone is called to be a saint. We have, compatible technologies, but we prefer different uses, to put it lightly. Furthermore,
drying out the wood expels these dark and ugly accidents contrary to the fire. Fire turns the wood into itself in a task without desire. Makes it then perform its action, so the wood is dry and dry, and so the wood is hot and heats. Fire changes all it eats into itself. You are lighter and a light. You are brighter than before. 'Cause it is not a test by fire. This is not a trial by fire. This is renovation by fire. This isn't a trial by fire. This is renovation by fire. This is not a trial by fire. This is renovation by fire. This isn't a trial by fire. This is renovation by fire.
we will not be able to talk about this when we emerge. So let's hold on to it now. We are beholding an object never before seen in itself or in its likeness, so we won't describe it well. And even if we could, God would hold our tongues, or physics would screw around with the math. Because unlocking the divine mysteries means you have to unfix your brain and step outside of time. And when you step outside of time, we won't be able to talk. Simple as that. Grammar is temporal. All you'll be able to say is, like, do you perchance know the paths of the great clouds or the perfect sciences? And you'll go, everything is a miracle, yes? It's a miracle that one does not dissolve in one's bath like a lump of sugar. Wisdom is an abyss. Love has a simpler science. Not all is lost. Your prayer will be short if you understand that. Oh God. That's it. That's all you get. Oh God. The earth shook and trembled. Your way is in the sea, and your paths are in many waters, and as such, your footsteps will be washed quite away. And when I say I'll smile for you anyway, it costs me, it's an offering. A symbol works best when you put it in the room. The fact that I actually lived does not make me less of a parable.
Sabat mater dolorosa juxta crucem lacrimosa dum pendebat filius quius animam gementem contrit statam et dolentem per transivit gladius sancta Mate isturagas crucifixi fige plagas cordi meo valide.
And when your new soul arrives on the doorstep of the new world, don't be like the children of Israel in the desert, who when they were given manna craved onions from before the war. Let yourself get unused to how it was. The night will wipe your memory if you let it. Let it. We will not be going back.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank you all so much for coming and joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. I'm Joshua William Gelb. This is Theater in Quarantine, and you just watched Heather Christian's I Am Sending You the Sacred Face. This is our extended run. So thankful that we got things to work finally. You're never sure how it's going to go wrong on the day. We try and take every precaution, but it's some fickle technology. So again, thank you all for joining us. We're going to bring in a couple of the artists involved over Zoom, and we'll have a conversation about the work, and we'll answer any questions you might want to throw into the chat. I'll start that process. Again, if you know of anyone who you think might enjoy the show, please send them word that we have one more performance on Friday, the 18th at 9 p.m. No snowstorm, I think, so maybe it'll work. And then, of course, if you're enjoying what you see, please subscribe to the channel. That's easy enough. And if you really enjoy the work, please donate at our Fractured Atlas link, because, again, Fractured Atlas is doing a matching campaign drive right now. And so we see double of everything you give, up to $100. So please give if you can. All right, I am joining the room, and I'm very excited. 1 second, let me just plug in here. I'm very excited we have so many people here. It's great. We've got Justin, Nestor, Katie Rose McLaughlin, Kristen Robinson, Ada Westfall, and Heather Christian here. I am going to go into the interview. And let's hold on 1 sec while I get Zoom. There it is, and there we all are. Katie Rose, in just one moment, would you mind saying hello? Would you mind saying hello, KR?
Hello.
That's working just fine. Thank you. I'm going to go into performance mode so that we can clean up this stream. And here, let me actually just fix that, because I think I just cut off my own head. There we go. But I got to center things, make it all look nice. Okay, there we go. And we're in. I need water so badly. So,
oh my God.
Everyone, if we can do the intros. We're already getting questions. So here we go. I'm going to get water and a bourbon. And that'll be great. Okay, I'll be back.
That kimono is fabulous, by the way. It's a new addition.
It's
part 3.
Hi, everybody on YouTube. I'm Katie Rose McLaughlin. I am the creative director of Theater in Quarantine. I was also the choreographer of this show. Heather Christian, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Heather Christian. I wrote it, and you've been listening to my voice all night. I bless you. I'm going to pass this to Crit.
Crit, scenographer, designer person. I'm going to pass it to Ada.
Hi, I'm Ada. I was on Team Sound. I did a lot of the mixing of the tracks and added a couple little instrument things here and there, and mostly just tried to make the genius of Heather Christian sound as clear and beautiful as it could. Let me pass this on to Justin Nestor.
Hi, everybody. Justin Nestor. I'm the co-artistic director of Theater Mitu, kind of general production manager for this larger endeavor here. I'm thrilled to be working with Theater in Quarantine on another Expansion Works project. So thanks again for having me.
Thank you for having us. It's been so thrilling. Even just today, we had to go pick up some headphones. Ooh, Dito.
Dito made it. Wonderful. Hi, Dito.
Hello.
Say who you are, Dito. Say what you did on the show.
I'm a drag dramaturg. I don't even know what that means myself.
Well, we've already got questions about it, so come up with an answer.
Okay. Are you wearing a kimono?
I'm wearing a little kimono. It's a cliche,
Oh
I know,
God.
but I kind of needed it.
No. I think it's like you're coming into your own. I've created a monster.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was a rough start. That was a rough start today. I don't know how we avoided that on Monday. But we did it. Great.
The magic of live theater. He's a fickle god.
First Q Lab went out, then Isadora went out. It was really remarkable. Yeah. But let's answer questions. But then we did it. We got the whole show done. So
yes. You had to start over, right?
Yeah, we started over. Yeah. Yeah. So, firstly, I don't even know where the questions are. I scrolled too high. KR, was there one you were looking at?
The first one that I see is...
I'd like to hear a bit of what came out of the drag dramaturgy. Hi, Diane. Thanks for asking.
Oh.
Heather, would you like to start, because you were the one who was really insistent?
I was really insistent. So I wrote this as a drag show. I am not a drag performer, even though I have been fortunate enough to be intimate with drag performers. Yes, I've been a sidekick of many a drag queen. I have a deep love in my heart for the drag community, but I am only writing what I'm observing from the outside. So I thought it was deeply important to make sure that the piece was a love letter to the drag community, and that because I don't have an insider's perspective, I sort of knew what the bones of this form were, so that we could play around inside it without breaking it or without disrespecting it. So I had the great fortune of Dito saying yes. Martha Graham Cracker is one of my favorite performers on earth. In fact, while we were making the show, I put on my winter coat for the first time, and I had a ticket in my pocket from the last ticket of a show that I went to, which was for a Martha Graham Cracker show at Joe's Pub. So it was meant to be. Dito, you want to take it from here?
Yeah. Well, I feel like all I did was sort of, as drag dramaturg, I kind of found some points of reference, I guess. We talked a little bit about Lip Synca, who's an incredible lip syncing performer. We found this person whose name I'm not sure I know, who is a drag queen who very earnestly and seriously recites sonnets lip syncs people who've recorded sonnets. So that, and then who else did we look at? Anyway, we started to, we looked at a little RuPaul too, to look at sort of how far it can go in terms of exaggeration and glamour and hugeness. And this is somewhere, maybe closer to the sonnet reciting part, but there are moments where Josh gets to really set himself aflame, and that's exciting. So yeah, I think we just talked a little bit about how lip sync, the various dialects of lip sync, and and then sometimes I was like, maybe you need an ace bandage for to hold your headdress on, which is what I used to hold my wigs on. That's some real insider information. Take it to your grave.
Oh, the drag queen is too tight Lautrec. The sonnets.
Yes.
There we go.
Speaking of ace bandages on your head, too tight Lautrec. Yeah. But I was very honored to be like anywhere near Heather Christian's incredible voice. I was like, what if I woke up and one day I could just produce her voice out of my mouth?
You do. You produce your own incredible voice out of your own mouth, so I don't want to hear it from you.
Okay. Sorry. Did I answer the question?
I think you did wonderfully.
Yeah.
Why the fly? Al asks. Hi, Al. Thanks for watching.
Fly. So the fly is, to me, like a double metaphor. The fly to me, like in all of Mother Teresa's private writings, she is constantly talking about needing to clean herself, not her physical body, but the inside of her vessel, of everything that is dirty. But the dirtying, like living, dirties it, so it's never a completed task. The fly to me was just like the bzz, still not done. It's both like the nagging reminder that that shit still stinks inside, and also it's a nuisance that's in the way of her relaying a message. I thought like the physical, like that the fly buzzes around and gets in the way of delivering the message was useful.
That first lyric always sticks out to me. Desires are mosquitoes, not bites. So I see it as a mosquito, not a fly. But Amelia has asked, and I think we were about to hit on this, was this envisioned as a drag performance? Was that your particular take on it? And Heather, actually, I'm interested in that because you did from the get-go talk about it as a drag performance in a way, but I also wondered to what extent, and we can speak a little bit about sort of the basic origins of the whole project, how the piece came about, why it's here at Theater in Quarantine, and to what extent kind of having to contend with my body forced your hand in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a piece that was made spec for this medium and for this group of people. So I cold called Josh and Katie Rose when they put out a Facebook APB saying that they were thinking about making a musical. And I was sitting on my butt over here in quarantine and wasn't currently working on much else. And I was like, I just want to make something for fun. And I have this list on my computer of all of the orphaned baby ideas that either didn't merit, a full-length production, or nobody wanted the idea. They never went anywhere. And so I took Katie Rose and Josh through this list, and the one they responded to was item Mother Teresa, a musical. So that's where we started. And then, so then I knew that what I was going to have to be doing was I would have to be writing something for Josh to perform. So I had to figure out a way to make it work. So I started reading. I just did a bunch of research. I spent a couple months just reading. And within that research, it became clear that, the serendipity has spoken to us. Because Mother Teresa's private writings were just released a couple years ago. And in all of her private writings, she refers to her persona. She refers to the face that she shows the poor, the face that she shows her sisters, the face that she shows the public, as being an entity that isn't inauthentic, that is a part of her, but is outside of herself. It's like her spirit leapt out of her body and made this thing. But that is not the whole story. And so it's like an avatar, but it's an authentic avatar in the way that I feel some of my favorite drag queens have this. It's like their spirit leapt out of their body, and like this is a hyperbolization of all of the most graceful and beautiful and like fabulous and strong pieces of them. It felt similar. So I ran with it and thought it was a good device. So that's how.
That was in August when we said, hey, Mother Teresa the musical. So since then, you wrote the entire score.
Yes.
Wow. If that answers your questions, Amelia. So was it envisioned with this exact music? I guess so, because you wrote this exact music.
Well, because we had a deadline, and I was like, great, you gotta write some music.
Yeah. Actually, now it's funny. So Theater in Quarantine, we've been working since March, building digital performance out of this closet. We started really just with my body, and then have expanded and played with bringing in other performers in some capacities. In fact, there was conversation early on in the process where we were talking about, this triptych as sort of is manifested in the scenic design. we were actually talking about somehow bringing in 2 other performers and seeing if we could have 3 Mother Teresas remotely. Now, I guess, Justin, this is where I want to pivot to you and kind of speak to your experience now, because I segue here because Justin at Theater Mitu worked with us on an Expansion Works piece back in September called Footnote for an Enumerator, where we tried to do just that. We built a separate closet with another actor and attempted to merge them on a screen. And Justin, please speak to the experience there, but then also generally about Mitu and everything.
Talk about all the things and all the experiments. Josh and I's conversations around this and started really early, just in terms of like, what tools are available? I'm going to build this thing in my closet. What's available to me? How do I make this computer program talk to this? How do I get lights to do X, Y, and Z? And this was, I don't know, this was probably back in March. I think I saw a Facebook post. And that started kind of a long conversation. I tend to be a form first, content second kind of person. And so it was really easy for me to step in and say, hey, here are all the tools that I use and we use at Theater Mitu. And then the conversation kept going on. I was sort of like an on-call IT support. And at a certain point, it just became clear that we should be having a slightly more intimate and engaged conversation. I came on to a project as a collaborator and then pretty quickly realized that Theater Mitu had a program that matched what Theater in Quarantine was doing, and that's our Expansion Works program, which was really designed to foster artists working outside of their primary disciplines, and in some ways, stretching themselves to work in a different medium, in a different form, in a different field altogether. And I think one of the great things about the match between Theater in Quarantine and Expansion Works is because of the way we have to make the work, and I don't mean the form the work ultimately takes, but the actual process of making is so outside of how most of us have functioned, in the before times, that we're forced to work outside of our primary discipline. Our mode of communications change, the way we speak, the way we talk, the way we exchange files and ideas and questions has all changed. And so it was a great blessing. I think this is one of the more exciting things to work on, and therefore there are lots of amazing failures. And they come in many forms. I think trying to get multiple performers in multiple places asks a question of how we share time in a digital space. This at the moment is one feed that is broadcast out from Josh's closet. Once you involve more performers and variable internet speeds and sound moving across faster than video, you get lots of really interesting and dissonant, we'll call them syncopated experiences of time, very Gertrude Stein-esque way. So we've had a lot of exciting experiments. I still have I don't know what the phrase is. I have a hankering to conquer multiple performers in multiple spaces. So it won't be long before we're sorting that problem out. Trust in that. But yeah, it's been really great, and Expansion Works has been a perfect home for all of us to work outside of our the ways we normally work and begin to kind of speak multiple languages, multiple theatrical languages.
Crit, we have a question about the pom-poms from Stairwell Theater. What do the pom-poms symbolize, and how did they come into the show? And Diane corrects with marigolds. So there's stuff going on in the chat already.
But I also appreciate them as pom-poms. Like, I actually think that pom-pom / marigold is the right combination of titling for the object. But I was particularly influenced to use them by actually looking at Mother Teresa's grave, which is also has this really beautiful relationship with Josh's closet.
Yeah, it does.
It's incredibly simple. It's just a plain white marble slab that's almost about the same dimensions if you close the closet doors. And there's often text and marigolds are used on top of it and decorating and honoring that space. So that to me was a big influence, but it's also used in a lot of shrines and other religious spaces in India. And so like combining that, it felt like the appropriate gesture at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any in-person interaction on this project? Or was it all done remotely, start to finish?
I have not met several of these people.
That's for certain. That's true. Katie Rose, you did some deliveries.
Yeah, actually, that's the first time we've ever done that since March. I haven't physically seen the closet since we started working, and we've done a number of shows. But we sort of ran out of time, and a number of deliveries needed to be made. I had to make a mic pack and hand deliver that.
Yeah, it worked much better. It's good. It's good.
And I was shouting to you through the poltergeist void. We had I was communicating with you through the computer, through a cell phone and everything. It was so incredible.
Yeah. So the way that we work is we work on Zoom, or we rehearse on Zoom. And then Josh, basically we all go to Josh, and then Josh does everything through his computers, and sort of comes back to us. But so we usually don't have anyone there. But this production, we also had someone doing Josh's makeup, because on Wednesday we had 2 shows that were 2 hours apart, and that's insane because the show's 40 minutes and requires an hour-long turnover. So that was sort of another TiQ first.
Yes, we did have a makeup. Jean Lou, you're amazing. You do amazing things. Poor Jean Lou. Today was rough all around because I thought I had everything together, and then Jean Lou was a half hour late because of the snow, and had to get here. And so we're rushing to get this on and trying to get the stream up. And as soon as I get to my computer to get the stream up, my computer had already frozen, and that was the beginning of the troubles. So
Josh, you should know that Jean and I sat on the phone for the entirety of your show.
I heard. Jean, yeah, he's holding it together over here. So that's truly, it's not a first. We have had one other person in the room with me during a performance. That was back in August. And that was a sound designer who was running a show. But since then, really, and since then and before then, those are the only 2. Yeah. And speaking to remotely, which I guess is the sort of the nature of the question, what is it like? What was the experience for some of you who have done this before? We worked back in the day, April, playing around in the closet.
OG.
But what is the experience of working remotely? Have you done it before, and how was this different?
I was just gonna say that I felt this time. I was surprised by how much it felt like a room, how I felt like I would step in and out of the theater or something, which surprised me. I don't think I always experience that being in Zoom collaborative spaces, but it really felt like I would come in and we would be working on, some people might be working on things and be like, oh, what's happening? And you'd pop away, or, so the roominess of it felt really cool this time.
Yeah, I do think it's worth noting that although we rehearse on Zoom, there's a whole bunch of other kind of digital systems at play that allow us to remote into the 2 computers in Josh's home to do all the video and audio programming locally on Josh's machine, but remotely from our homes. So, and that's really, I've heard Josh and Katie Rose say this a million times about theater in quarantine, but the entire process from start to finish is technical rehearsals, because there's no way for us to view what's happening. I've had the privilege of watching some of these pieces, watching just the camera feed from some of these pieces. And of course, as you can imagine, it's an entirely different experience without all of the video and audio laid on top of it. And that stuff does happen. That's programmed remotely by other people and locally by Josh in one big machine that's sitting probably right in front of Josh's face.
It's right there. But yeah. I think we've touched on this a little bit, but Quinoa asks, can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Mother Teresa and drag and Catholicism? I think,
Is that
Heather,
for you
that's
or
you.
me?
I mean, I don't have too much of a relationship with Catholicism. I am, yeah, this is a stretch for me, but in many ways. But, so Heather,
But you've worn lashes before.
But I've worn, well, of course, I've worn lashes before. But Heather, go ahead. I feel like this is all you.
Oh yeah. So Mother Teresa, I didn't have much of I didn't really have a unique experience with Mother Teresa before going into this project. I'm a child of the late 80s and early 90s, so I grew up around the time when she was really in the public eye. And she died. I mean, she, like, Mother Teresa dying is something that I remember. I remember where I was in the same, and it was, we later discovered it was like the same week that Princess Diana died too, right?
Yeah.
This was like something that like 80s, 90s children sort of carry with them as a massive event. And I, you know, I'm privy to memes and like sound bites that I quite agree with, from things that Mother Teresa has said publicly. And I've been interested in, because some of the things that I read about Mother Teresa in this very conflicted relationship with what she was doing for the poor, what she was doing for the hopeless, that was her vocation, to be with people who were in a hopeless situation. She received a lot of flack for not doing anything other than comforting them at their last moments. And so I was just like, what is this conflict? Where does this conflict lie? And when I started reading her private writings, I was like, whoa, the conflict is much bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Can you speak about the private writings a little bit?
Yeah, so the private writings, Mother Teresa wrote a lot of letters, quite a lot of letters. What a lot of people don't know is that after she received this call to drop everything and go be with the poor in Calcutta, she didn't want to abandon her nunhood. She didn't want to leave the order, but she knew that she would probably have to in order to go do this. But she decided that she was going to have to get permission from the church in order to do it, because she didn't want to give up being a nun. And what the church put her through was 7 or 8 years of waiting to make sure that she really meant it. She wrote letters every single week, basically begging the bishops and archbishops and eventually popes to let her go and do this thing. And eventually they did. And the way that the church writes about it is they had to put her through this, and they had to make sure that she, this wasn't a passing fancy, that it really was a calling from God. The only way to actually assess that if it's a call from God is to say no repeatedly and see if the person persists. So she did. But this was, as a result, all these people have a bunch of letters of hers. And after she got to Calcutta, and she started the order, she starts to write to her confessors about what she experienced as a dryness in prayer, which turned into a complete feeling of abandonment by God, that God was completely ignoring her. It was a darkness, which is what now church scholars refer to as the dark night of the soul. We've all heard that term. I decided that I needed to go in and figure out what they were actually talking about. What is this dark night of the soul? Where does it come from? And as it turns out, the dark night of the soul, that is one of the qualifications that you have to hit in order to be canonized as a saint. You have to have experienced a dark night of the soul. Mother Teresa is on record as being the canonized saint with the longest durational dark night of the soul, in that it lasted over 50 years. It wasn't lifted before she died. So there was this deep longing and darkness in her that she was telling her confessors, and surveys she was filling out at retreats, and letters she was writing to companions. And every single letter, the end of the letter says, please burn this. Please burn this. Clearly they didn't burn it. apparently she was very good at burning her journals. So now we have this document, and I find it to be quite heartening and beautiful. I think that it's a disservice and it's a shame that like the Catholic Church sort of says this was not a human. This was a person who had no flaws. This is somebody that, you know, didn't experience life in the same way that we do.
And there's that element of drag, right? It's like the perfection, the layer of saintliness, the canonized self versus like the interior.
The interior
that is a person, a living person.
Yeah. And a struggle that she's trying to protect others from. It wasn't necessarily that she's hiding. It's just that she's trying to protect others from this suffering because she knows that they are drawing strength from the archetype. Anyway, so I went to Catholic school for 12 years. And I actually worked for the church from the time I was 11 years old until I was 28. I was music director for several Catholic churches. I started out cantering when I was a little girl. And I am the daughter of devout Catholics, New Orleans Catholics. I am not currently practicing, but I do have a deep fascination in deep theology. And these old archaic texts and writings and how they apply to a modern life. If there's any wisdom there to be mined, which I think there is. It's just wacky.
Yes.
Just wacky.
It's just wacky.
It's wacky.
And like my experience with drag is I was welcomed with open arms into the drag community when I got to New York City. I think because I was a little nuts and I hustled real hard, and like I was willing to hustle as hard as some of the stars that invited me into their shows. Like, y'all, drag queens are the hardest working people in show business. They're like they will be your mark. Like that takes multi-hyphenate to a totally hyperbolic degree. And I was willing to run fast enough to play ball. So I was welcomed into that community by Salty Brine, by Taylor Mack, by Martha Graham Cracker, by several drag artists, and I got to become their friends and companion and sidekick in some regards. And now I understand why. I also have a performer persona who has her own like energy source. I wouldn't go so far as to call that drag, but I think she has I call her something outside of myself. She's the peacock and I'm the song puppy.
Song puppy.
Yes. Who are we talking to now? The peacock or the song puppy?
I don't know. Probably the song puppy.
Okay.
The peacock, whatever. You just spent the evening with the peacock. You turn the microphone on, the peacock comes out.
I was being the peacock. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the song puppy writes the shows. The peacock sings them.
We'll jump to another question. Todd asks, can you talk a little bit about the collaboration with the video designer, Stivo?
Stivo!
So, I mean, video is, I guess it's, first off, I should speak to like what excites me so much about design and directing and whatever in this digital space, because I think that's actually very important. The fluidity of what exactly, who is doing what is really up for grabs in a way, right? Like, Crit didn't just say, okay, build a staircase and some marigolds. In the same way, Stivo just didn't like, I do all the video. Like, everything is integrated in, truly, I think, like, video, scenic design, lighting, staging, they all kind of merge in a really fabulous way. And so that's what's been exciting me for a while. And so on this particular project, Heather, Katie Rose, Crit, and myself had done a fair amount of work about 3 weeks ago, sort of building out the world a little bit. There's a question coming up about Trinity and Triptychs, which I'll send to you, Crit, in a moment. But we had started working on that. And then Justin brought in Ada and Stivo while we were just about to start rehearsals. And that's when Dido came in too, effectively. And basically we had 2 weeks, and that's usually what we use to make our performances here. So working with Stivo, again, as Justin was saying, Stivo was remoting into my computer. That being said, Justin and myself have a fair amount of Isadora training as well, video processing wise. Justin taught me, Stivo taught you, is that correct?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, that's how it works then. So we were able to like do a lot of handing off of ideas, and it was really like the most wonderful experience I've had with a video designer, truly. We would just, one of the major images that struck us very early on, and one of the questions that I always try to ask is like, how does video have a role in the telling of this story? Like, what is its identity? And sometimes that's easier than in other instances. But the image that clarified or calcified that for me were these GIFs that we found online of Mother Teresa. And they're just gaudy and opulent, and they somehow encapsulated drag, Mother Teresa, devout Catholicism, and also meme internetness. And that suddenly made sense. And so Stivo and I would just try to outdo one another and send each other ridiculous little patches, as like these little GIFs. And that was how this really started coming about. And truly, so it was a really exciting experience. I would say a lot of the storyboarding was done collectively. And we worked on a program called Miro, which I recommend to anyone who's doing either digital work and or normal theater work, frankly. It's a really great digital whiteboard where you can kind of organize images and links and videos and stuff. And we would just go through songs and just work through sections and say, okay, well, maybe this is one, maybe this is a kick line, maybe this is something. The problem with video, and I'd say the problem with making digital theater at this moment is that we as artists don't exactly have the tools or the imagination, let's say, the same way we all do. We can go into a rehearsal room and we can all say, okay, yeah, I can figure out what that looks like. But we don't exactly know how to look at a screen and go, okay, yes, but this time it's going to be a dozen of me. And then they're all going to be here, and it's like we need to see it. We actually need to see these things. So we have to do a lot of work and storyboarding in order to then program it, in order to then see it. And truly, in some cases, I'd say it's like the thing that can be seen, if it works, it's like that's the choice. And then other... So, that's how we make it. It's messy, and it's a lot of fun. Pivoting, though, to the idea of the Trinity and Triptych, since we're talking about that. Crit, would you talk about Triptychs?
Sure. I mean, I think it was, it was interesting because the first time that I read the piece, like before we had a conversation, I hadn't particularly thought about Triptych, but then like the first conversation we had, it was like Triptych. There's a Triptych, and I was like, all right, great. I'm game to dig into that. It's helpful that the piece is in 3 parts. That's it's good to keep aligning the threes. But I was really excited to sort of dig into the like the art history of that, and to look at that in religious painting. And to me, I think, is interesting because Josh mentioned, like, early on, there was a sort of a debate about whether there should be more than one performer or one performer. And to me, it was so clear that it should be Josh viewed in multiplicity, or Mother Teresa viewed in multiplicity, like that it was about the different versions of her that are contained in herself, but then hypothetically also contained in us, or contained in all of these layers. And so then digging into the art really looked a lot at some Renaissance altarpieces. And what was so compelling about that, and you really see this in the video and in the way that the space has been imagined, is this idea of unfolding and unfolding and unfolding into something, and that the object itself keeps transforming. And that's also true in the case of the closet itself, that we start in this tinsel space and then we pull it all away and then we have another revelation. And so everything is sort of continuously renovating, to use your song title, Heather. And then obviously that relates back to a lot of theological ideas in the Catholic Church too. So yeah, it's all multi-layered, I would say, but definitely a part of the structure.
I love thinking of the three of them as a trinity at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That was getting the three images. We do a lot of work to try and make everything live as much as we can here. The whole opening number is live capture. So it's all loopable movement that is captured in the moment. But in that last section in Renovation, we were just super excited about the three different iterations of Mother Teresa that we've seen over the course of this piece to like encounter one another. So we had to do pre-recording on that, but I love that. In a way, they are a sort of holy trinity in their own right. I don't know if I have the theology to back that up.
I think it's also important that, that we met them earlier. It's not like we see them just at the end. It's like those things that we have a history with.
Yeah.
And there was something I found really exciting in building the choreography for that, for like building it for a you that happened in history within the show, which was cool. And then also trying to figure out how to build yourself around, which was fun.
This would be my fantasy if we had like another day. If we had one more day, I would say, Heather, can we get some like as many bars as we need earlier in the show for Trish and Terry? Those are the names that we give the drag Mother Teresa and sad darkness Mother Teresa. I would ask, like, can we get as many bars as we need later on in order to capture the round, in order to actually make that live later? That would be my fantasy if we had one more day. Yeah.
As in, like, you don't mean like tomorrow.
No.
I was like, you actually took one day.
I'm not touching
Because
any
my
of that
power is
anymore.
probably going to go out, and I don't know if I can get that.
No.
I'm like, oh no, my service is going away. Sorry guys, I'm in a tunnel.
Snowstorm.
We have an interesting Kathy. Hello, Kathy. I believe watched it twice, or watched it at least on Monday. Remember the last line from Monday being "Get used to it," but it was very powerful. But that wasn't there tonight.
Hi, Kathy. You imagined that.
But I'm glad it was powerful.
Yeah. Maybe that's what you needed to hear. Maybe that's what you needed to hear.
Get used to it.
With that.
I mean, we're not going back. It's the same intention in some ways.
I mean, but the line previous to that says that the Dark Night will wipe your memory if you let it. Let it.
Yeah.
Let yourself get unused to how it was.
Get unused to how it was. That's it.
You will
That's
not be going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the contribution site is Fractured Atlas. It's actually right below in the description. The link is there. Please tell me that's true, Katie Rose. Fairly certain it is.
Yeah.
And
if you,
yeah, go ahead, Kara.
and if you donate $100, Fractured will match it, which is
Or
really
less.
exciting.
Or less.
Or less.
Anything less than
Yeah.
$100. If you donate $150, that's great, but we don't see $300 that way.
Sadly.
But
it's very exciting until the end of the year.
Yeah, so keep
Wow.
Keep it going.
Yeah, up till 10 grand. So, yeah. Anyway, we've been going a while now. I know we started late, but I guess here I'm going to open this up to one more question just from the team. Does anyone have a question that they want to ask someone that they've been like begging?
Yes.
I knew someone would.
So I feel like I've wanted to ask this because I've worked on previous Theater in Quarantine pieces, but this is not for Katie Rose or Josh. For anyone else, now having been in this closet for 2 or 3 weeks, what is something you did not see that you are desperate to see happen with what you know exists, desperate to see happen in the closet?
Yes.
You mean like with this piece, or you mean like in the future of the
Just
closet?
in the future of the closet, we know there's this 2 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot box. What is the thing you so desperately wish you could see in there that you feel like, oh, if we had the time, I would want to do this thing?
This is so torturous, but like something really epic durational. Like,
yeah.
You just want to abuse Josh more.
That's true.
You guys should see the bruises on his poor body.
I was gonna say tonight the dance belt was rough. I'm just gonna throw that one out there.
The dance
Whoa.
belt?
Yeah, it's not supposed to hurt, is it? Because it hurts.
Is this a humble brag, Josh? Is that what's happening right now?
Nope, not wrong direction. Wrong direction.
Definitely, I'd like to see a piece with a dance belt, but just a dance belt.
Oh, we've done one of those. We
In
have.
the closet.
We have. Yeah,
That was
that's
the
why
one
I.
where
That's the one where the television fell on my head. No, you can say it. You can say it.
That's the one where Josh went to a hospital.
A dance belt in a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you gotta do it.
Yep. No, go on. Anything else? Durational? More dance belt?
I'm like, how fantastical can we be? I'm like, I wish we could fill you up with water and do like a, like a water, like
exactly. That's what I was
straitjacket
saying.
escape.
Yeah. Water. Fill it with water.
Or live animals, but don't hurt them.
We had that thought about the last show. We were like, we should put a bird in the closet.
We were gonna frame it with plexi and put a bird in, but we couldn't do that. We're not allowed to do that.
No. Very Jodorowsky.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
Jenny Ray is Googling dance belt.
Thank you, Jenny Ray. Thank you. It's a
okay,
thong.
we got
It's just a
water.
thong.
We got water. We got epic. Anything else?
Live animals.
Babies.
Fireworks.
What? Fireworks? Fireworks.
Oh,
I have. Yeah.
No, I was thinking of a Rube Goldberg machines.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Very specific.
Oh, I love that. We're gonna need engineers for that one. Ooh.
Yeah.
But they're on TikTok. There's lots of TikTok people that do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you record it for me, I'll turn it into a song.
Oh,
that's
Has anybody done a scored Rube Goldberg machine? I mean, sure, somebody has. Right? That's true. I guess that's kind of what that's their shtick.
That video is amazing.
You could probably do one where everything makes sound, and so that it would.
I've seen versions of that where they'll like drive a car really fast down a road and it'll hit like a stick will hit little bottles or something, and they've all tuned them to different notes and they play a song that way. It's cute. Well, look where I've derailed us to.
what we strive for here at Theater in Quarantine.
There's something, but like, I don't know. I think there's some really great stuff on YouTube. Don't get me wrong. I love you, YouTube. You're my parent company, apparently. But it's fascinating because all of it is, all edited. So people are getting, major producers of YouTube content get a lot of money to make like 5 minutes of content a week. Great. That's actually pretty impressive. That being said, they're not doing it live. And so I think if we could manage to do it live, I think, somehow step up the game. So that would excite me. So I'm all about musical Rube Goldberg machines. I think it's a great idea.
The setup. Don't have 2 shows in one night.
No, you can't have you can't. No. Well, that's really great. We're always open to suggestions on what people want to see and are craving from the closet. I have a long list. Well, then, it's late, and we should probably get going. I feel like now is when we sing the Mickey Mouse song or something. But
yeah.
Oh.
M-I-C.
Exactly. Who's
got a Martha Graham Cracker outro?
Yeah. So, well, I'm really thrilled to get to. Thank you. I'm really glad to see all of you again. I didn't expect to have such a lovely talkback tonight. So this is really wonderful. And I thank everyone who's still watching. Thank you all for tuning in. A couple things. Yes, please subscribe if you haven't already. We've got a lot of stuff coming. We're working every 3 weeks now in our winter-spring season. We've got some really exciting stuff coming your way. We have a new installment of Closet Works, our dance series, coming January 11th, featuring, we shouldn't say yet. Should we say yet? We can say. Go ahead.
Karen Olivo
Boom.
is making a piece, which is very exciting.
That's
and Aaron
right.
Ortman.
Very exciting stuff, January 11th. And then every 3 weeks after that. Again, if you can donate at Fractured Atlas, everything is matched right now. So it's a really good time to donate.
Do it. Donate.
I don't
You won't do it. Do it.
I don't hawk for donations. It's not my thing. But like right now, it happens to be a really good time. Again, thank you all so much. And thank you all to all of you, Justin, Kristen, Heather, Ada, Katie Rose, Dito. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm so glad we were able to actually do it. I was so worried at the beginning.
I
was
like
not.
this.
I'll have you know, after it started happening, I immediately phoned Justin Nestor and was like, having fun?
Oh boy. Well, we got through it. This happens. It's not the worst it's ever been. And we actually got through the whole thing.
It was great.
So, yeah, I'm glad that we actually did the whole thing. We didn't jump into the middle, so that's nice. And,
No.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you all. Have a terrific night. If you're in New York, stay out of whatever is outside right now. It's a little percussive, that's for certain. And otherwise, stay healthy, stay safe, stay well. Just stay inside, frankly. I'm Joshua William Gelb. This is the team of I Am Sending You the Sacred Space. And have a terrific it's Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday night. We'll go with that. We're back on Friday at 9. Good night.